I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, November the 4th, brought to you in part by Norbrook. Norbrook's generic products are equal to name brands in active ingredients, strength, dosage, and method of administration, making it convenient for producers to use them. For more information, go to norbrook.com. On the cusp, we're right here at 130, and I've been talking this week about 130, and that is just such a glass ceiling that we're trying to break through to show investors in your futures market, especially on the live cattle, that we can get a market when we have the opportunity to get it. We're in the fourth quarter here. We're tight on market ready supplies. We're due for a better market, and 130 is what we're looking for. We've had higher prices this week, the highest we've had in 2 years, but we can't seem to break the 130. 130 would just be a threshold to show that we can get higher market, and I think it would fall in, and then we could start shooting on higher from that. If you think back in the summer, we were talking about 140 on fats, and we can't even fathom that here, as it's such a struggle to get to 130. We've had some 130 delivered, and we've had a lot of 130 in your auctions, but we haven't seen anything on a direct basis yet. But we're getting right there. And packers have bought several cattle here at 128, a little bit of 129, but they haven't bought enough negotiated cash sales this week so far to fill their needs. They're short bought, they need cattle, and we've got a lot of producers out there that are dug in at 130. We've got a lot more that are wanting more than that. But it's likely to see, if guys will stay hooked, that they're going to have to give 130 negotiated direct sales to get their needs filled on the little dab of cattle that they need to buy negotiated cash to fill their needs. And we just hope the guys will continue to hold out and strive for that 130, because I believe if we could get the 130, we could fall well into the 130s here before long as we go forward. But let's look at your board on Wednesday. Your December live cattle futures were up 170, and that's just from the higher market that we've seen already this week. And you know, cattle are a product too. Inflation's big, and we got to get back up there. But up 170 on December live cattle futures at 131.65, and December's not that far away. That's the highest spot live cattle futures market that we've had in 4 years. February contracts up 142 at 136.65. Doesn't that sound good? Go on your back months of live cattle futures, up 17 cents to up 135. November feeder cattle, of course, all your feeder cattle contracts responded to grains going down again for the second day in a row this week, but November feeder cattle up 160 at 159.17. That's a big premium to what our index levels are running at right now. January feeder cattle up 220 at 159.22. Go on your back months of feeder cattle, and they were up 37 cents to up $2.15. Talked about your grains. December corn was down 9 cents on Wednesday at 5.64 bushel. Kansas City wheat down 7.5, back under the $8 bushel level at 7.90 3/4 a bushel there, but still pretty smoky from what it's been historically. Fat cattle trade had a little bit more trade, but like I said, not enough to fill all the packers' needs yet, guys. Stay dug in at the 130. Let's see if we can't get it this week. Iowa had 2,600 head confirmed sales through USDA on Wednesday. Live sales from 127 to 128. Dress sales from $2 to $2.02. Now in the Northern Plains, that's $1 to $3 higher live. Your dress sales are $1 to $4 higher. Southern Plains mostly $2 higher, but we can get more, guys. Don't settle. Get more. Nebraska, 1,700 head confirmed on Wednesday from 127 to 129 direct in the country negotiated cash, and dress sales at 202. Kansas had less than 100, all at 128. They had a lot more on Tuesday that didn't get confirmed but come in on your cleanup deal at 128. But 128 is what we've seen in Kansas so far. Texas had negotiated sales confirmed on Wednesday of 1,200 head, 126 to 128.5, and it was mostly 128. Box beef cutout values. All right, actually, let's go back and talk about some more fat cattle sales. Sioux Falls Regional Livestock in Worthing, South Dakota had 1,700 head of slaughter cattle there. The bulk of their fat cattle in Sioux Falls sold 124 to 128.50, but program cattle up to 134, and they had a lot of cattle in the program run there up to 134. 130 is not too much to ask for a good high quality cattle, direct basis negotiated. Box beef cutout values were higher, and then they're picking back up, and they should continue to kind of increase until we get into the first week or so of December, because you know, these retailers are buying product for the holiday season, but we got to keep these plants open. That's something that is in the back of my mind with these vaccine mandates and things like that. We've got to keep these plants open, wide open, guys. But choice cuts on Wednesday afternoon, $288.49, up $1.11. Selects up $159 at $267.72. Your slaughters clipping right along here, keeping up pretty well, and going farther than a year ago. But 365,000 head of cattle harvested so far this week through Wednesday. That's down just 1,000 from the big week that we had last week, and up 3,000 head from the same week a year ago. What else is going on? You know, DV Auction, they support all this, the feeder flash and the Cattle Market Central and everything that's here. DV Auction, our bread and butter is production sales. We broadcast real-time livestock auction, a lot of commercial sales, but our bread and butter again is production sales. Your bull sales, your female sales, replacement stock. But on your fall production sales through October, look at this DV Auction production sale report. We had bids of nearly 18,000 bids that happened through our production sales in October. We sold lots of nearly 2,600 different lots of cattle that were sold in our October sales with DV Auction, with total purchases nearly $11 million. If you guys are having a production sale, bull sale, replacement female sale, and you don't have DV Auction, we got the biggest buyer base out there, and you need to get in touch with us. We can do it on site at your farm or ranch, or if you're having it in town, in a ballroom or a hotel or something like that, we can absolutely do it on site, and that's what we do. Let's talk about your feeder cattle auctions. I'm going to have a big feeder cattle auction, primetime livestock video, Joplin Regional Stockyards on Thursday here at 1 o'clock p.m. They got a couple big long strings of yearlings, guys. If you're interested in some hard yearling cattle, you got to get on to dvauction.com or joplinstockyards.com and view and bid the primetime livestock video on Thursday at 1 p.m. It's going to be in the barn, but they've got a couple of really long strings of yearlings in there and a lot of good cattle on their video sale here today on Thursday. Look at your auction sales, real-time index on Wednesday's sales. Real-time index ended the day on Wednesday at 154.19, down just 6 cents, and that's pretty strong, you know, compared to what it was last week. But moving right along here, guys, and more calves are slipping into that index, weighing over 700 pounds, but holding pretty well. Look at your big sales on Wednesday. OKC West, El Reno, Oklahoma, 5,800 head there. Now they had a really smoky sale last week, if you remember, where the board was up. But your feeder steers sold $2 to $5 lower than that sharply higher market than they had a week ago, but still selling pretty smoky. And I'm going to give you a quote here. But feeder heifers about steady. Calves were mostly steady in El Reno this week. But how about 41 head of 903 pound steers at El Reno, bring $164. That couldn't be any cheaper. How about winter livestock? Dodge City, Kansas, 2,600 head there. Market was very uneven, and again, market reporters there are very hard to follow, and it doesn't make sense, the trends that they put out there, but I can look at the quotes and make sense out of them. How about 60 head, 885-pound yearling steers in Dodge? They brought 162.10. Got several other quotes from all around the region. How about South Central Regional Stockyards? Dave Patton and Sons there, they got a really nice sale there. South Central Missouri, 56 head, 620-pound fancy steers there, bring 168.50. How about a market that we don't talk about very often? It's in the southeast, and you guys think they sell them all one at a time. Not so at Hardin County Stockyards, Savannah, Tennessee. They had several loads that they quoted on Wednesday, but the stick-out deal was 59 head, 837-pound steers. Hardin County Stockyards bring 151.10 in Savannah, Tennessee. How about Creston, USA? Creston, America, Creston Livestock Auction in Creston, Iowa. 72 head, 799, or same as 800-pound steers. Bring 165.85. That's $10 over your index levels based on the same weight right there. How about Stockman's Livestock? I always talk about their fat cattle sale there in Yankton, South Dakota, but Stockman's Livestock Market in Yankton sells feeders big too. How about 61 head, 980-pound steers at $164? Now talk about a market that's down here in the Southern Plains, no man's land there on the western side. I was able to be at Texoma Livestock Exchange for their special customer appreciation day, and I helped Ashley Nolan there with some of the auctioneering duties, and they had a nice run there, about 2,000 cattle there. I had several loads of yearling feeders there, some nice calves, and a smoking cow market there on your way up. So about as good a cow market as you'll find there in the Southern Plains there. But Jackie Myers from Felt, Oklahoma, she sold a load of 911-pound steers. They weren't empty and they weren't thin, but they bring $156, and that's a hell of a good price. But the best quote that I saw anywhere on Wednesday come out of a market that I don't talk about very often. Dave Cannon's got Davies County Livestock Market in Gallatin, Missouri. That's not a high volume sale there, but my good friend, longtime buddy, one of my favorite people, Barry Bowes, my old commission man from St. Joe Stockyards, he commissions cattle in there now, and look at this smoky quote they had out of there. 161 head of good high quality feeder heifers mind you, 161 head, weighed 659 at $168. And that's your feeder flash for Thursday.